Hello, weird travelers, and welcome back to the Temple of Kung Fu. As always, I'm your host, the Shaolin Kid, and tonight's tale is...
The spirit of Bruce Lee lives in the Circle of Iron.
I am your triumph. I am triumph. Test yourself against me.
This is the adventure inspired by Bruce Lee. The adventure that breaks all tradition. The Circle of Iron.
Circle of Iron. See right there? Circle of Iron, also known as The Silent Flute, a story by Bruce Lee, starring David Carradine and Jeff Cooper, and this one was released in 1978, and it is a action, adventure, fantasy, kung fu film. And, yeah, and also, there are similarities to the DreamWorks animated film Kung Fu Panda, which I'll say later, but, and really only, like, the, not really, like, the whole film-wise, but, like, a certain part of the movie, which I bet Kung Fu Panda was at least, inspired by. If you didn't know this film, the reason I say a story by Bruce Lee is because this story was at least made by Bruce Lee, and then he wrote it. Bruce Lee wrote this story, and later on, after he had died, they decided to make the movie after he had, well, written it and had passed away. But how I feel about this movie is I enjoyed it quite a bit throughout the film. I was pretty engaged, pretty enthralled. I wanted to see Cord, I think his name was Cord, or Jeff Cooper, who I thought I recognized him, but apparently he's like nothing in nothing I've ever seen. So I guess he just looks like a guy with weird hair from the 70s. But yeah, I think he did a pretty good job as the main character, you know. Nothing really to write home about, but hey, what are you going to do? But obviously, David Carradine, I think, did great as all the trial, like, people and the teacher, the blind teacher. He was also, like, every trial character, like the Monkey Man, the Death, who was barely in it. They apparently just think he looked too fantasy-like, too much. So they kind of cut a lot of the scenes from Death out. Which I don't know if those scenes have been found or if they're just lost, but even if they aren't, I didn't watch them, so boo-hoo. And he also played, like, this king guy who was a part of the final trial. But, so basically the story is, the main character, the Seeker, he's trying to find, what was it called? The Book of Everlasting Knowledge, is that what it was called? Something along those lines. He was trying to find the Book of Everlasting Knowledge, and they're like the keeper of the book. He was trying to find the keeper of the book and fight him and get the book. So basically the movie is just him going through these trials and learning lessons from the blind wise man, or David Carradine, while going through these trials, who were also played by David Carradine. And yeah, very and it's actually pretty original for a kung fu movie, especially on this series, because it's not a revenge story. Who'da thunk it, you know? Who'da thunk it? But, yeah. It's quite an interesting movie, because it really makes you think, what if Bruce Lee had made it, or if he hadn't died, what would the movie have been like? Would the movie have ever even been made? It really makes you think. But, yeah, we were going to draw similarities to Kung Fu Panda, and drawing similarities, so if you haven't seen Kung Fu Panda, I guess, spoiler alert for that, so if you don't want spoilers, you can exit out or just skip this part. But, so basically, at the there's like throughout the whole movie they're building up this dragon scroll, right? The dragon scroll has all this power, right? It gives you like the secret recipe, right? Like the secret ingredient to like a delicious meal, which is fighting, right? Fighting. And they open it, they give it to Poe, Jack Black in the movie, the bear, and he opens it and it's just a reflection. It's a mirror, pretty much. It's basically saying that you are the secret ingredient, right? You are like all the everlasting knowledge is within you. You know, it's yourself. And this movie does the same. So there's like the book of everlasting knowledge. They build it up, the whole movie, and once he gets it, once he like does all the trials, and he gets transported to the lands where the book is, and he opens it and he looks through it. It's every page is a mirror, right? And every page is a mirror, and it basically does the same thing. The knowledge is within yourself, you know. You are your own knowledge, which is a pretty... Not you are your knowledge. You are... I don't know. You have the knowledge, right? You don't need a book with everlasting knowledge. You are the and maybe not you are the everlasting knowledge. You just know it already. You know? It's like... It's all about you. You know? Not in like a narcissistic way either. But, yeah. I think it's a pretty unique message that... I don't think Kung Fu Panda stole that from this movie. I think it might have took inspiration from this movie. But I do think that is rather interesting that Kung Fu Panda... It can't be a coincidence, right? I mean, it's oddly specific when you think... I don't... Maybe it's coincidence, but it just seems a little too... Like... I don't know, it just seems kind of hard for me to believe that it was coincidence. They must have taken inspiration somewhat, but maybe it was all coincidence, I don't know. But yeah, I did find the film enjoyable all the way through. I enjoyed it, and the only, like, real complaints I have is some scenes did drag on a little bit here and there, but overall, I just enjoyed myself and don't really have much to complain about. Yeah. If you're a Kung Fu fan, I would recommend it. Action film fan, fantasy fan, I definitely would recommend this film. It is a pretty good ride, and it has a pretty good message to boot. So, yeah. Enjoy it. Also, another thing I don't really understand is, like, they said it was controversial at the beginning of the movie. Like, it might be controversial to some people, but it's fine. It was just Bruce's, like, Zen stuff. But I'm like, I didn't really see much controversial stuff in the movie. Maybe that's just because I wouldn't get the controversial stuff. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough to see the controversial stuff. I don't know, but I didn't really think the film would be very controversial. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in that demographic that would find it controversial. I don't know. But, yeah, probably not. But yeah, I think overall, I would definitely recommend this film for, you know, fantasy fans, action fans, Kung Fu fans alike. Definitely enjoy it. And I think I rated a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely a strong film, and I would highly recommend it. And, yeah. I think I've said my piece. I think I've said what I need to say. So, guys, thanks for stopping by the temple. You know, really appreciate it. Thanks for showing the support. Thanks for showing the love. So, guys, hope you leave a like. Hope you share a friend. Subscribe. There's notifications on. Comment below how much you liked it. And as always, I've been the Shaolin Kid. Booty be praised. Freeze frame ending. You know what? It's not freeze framing there, you fuckers. You ain't getting a freeze frame ending this time. You sons of bitches. This movie didn't even have a freeze frame ending. You fucking idiots. If you'd actually watched the movie, you'd actually know that. And also, guys, remember, can't kill a horse with a flute.